Hey everyone, ready to clear up some of the fog around the cloud?
Mhm.
It's one of those terms, that gets thrown around all the time. It powers our favorite apps, stores our photos, you name it. But how many of us can actually say, yeah, I get what's going on behind the scenes?
Right.
So today we're using the Cloudbenders podcast as our guide to unpack this whole tech marvel. And believe me, they've come up with some surprisingly relatable ways to explain even the most technical bits.
Yeah, analogies are like they're lifesavers when you're trying to wrap your head around something as vast and, let's be honest, sometimes intimidating as the cloud.
Totally, totally. And speaking of misconceptions, let's address the elephant, or rather the fluffy white mass in the room.
Hmm.
When you hear the cloud, you probably picture data just floating around up there in the ether, right?
It's a common image for sure,
Right.
but it couldn't be further from the truth.
Exactly. Our friends over at Cloudbenders are quick to point out that the cloud is it's very grounded. Instead of some magical digital realm, think more along the lines of giant warehouses.
Yeah. Like imagine rows and rows of servers, which are basically superpowered computers all humming away in these massive data centers. These centers are really the backbone of the cloud, and they're strategically located all over the world.
So not exactly a cloud in the sky, but a cloud of servers.
You got it. And it's actually fascinating how the term evolved from those early network diagrams. Engineers used to use just a simple cloud symbol to represent these complex networks of servers, because back then the physical location of data processing, it was almost irrelevant. So it's gone from a simple doodle to this technological force to be reckoned with.
That's wild. Okay, I'm already starting to see how this simple idea has completely revolutionized the tech landscape. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. One of my favorite parts of Cloudbenders was their warehouse analogy. They explain it like this. Imagine you're a business owner and all your data is like inventory, right? In the pre-cloud days, you had to build your own warehouse, a whole room dedicated to storing this data on physical servers.
Right, and that meant huge upfront costs, constant maintenance, the works. It was a massive undertaking.
Totally. And then the cloud comes along and says, hey, instead of all that hassle, how about renting a storage unit? Suddenly you've got all the space you need, but someone else is handling the upkeep, the security, everything.
Yeah, plus you only pay for the storage you use. Need to scale up or down? No problem. The cloud adapts to your business needs, not the other way around.
So to clarify, those storage units are the big players we hear about all the time, like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure.
Precisely. And this storage unit model, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Huh.
The real beauty of the cloud is that it's not just about storing data. It's a launch pad for a whole universe of digital services. It's like having a Swiss Army knife of tech tools at your disposal.
I'm intrigued. So if the cloud is our Swiss Army knife, what kind of tools are we talking about here?
Well, Cloudbenders breaks these services down into three main categories, and they've got a fantastic analogy to help us understand each one. Think of it like planning a road trip.
Okay.
So, road trip analogy.
I'm here for it.
All right.
Lay it on me.
So, imagine you're about to embark on this epic journey, right?
Sure.
Your first option is to just buy a car.
Mhm.
You've got complete control, but it's a significant investment. You're responsible for the maintenance, insurance, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
This is like building and managing your own IT infrastructure, kind of the pre-cloud way.
Yeah. You're going all in, for better or for worse.
Exactly.
So what's our next option on this tech road trip?
Option 2 is renting a car. You still have the freedom to drive wherever you want, but someone else handles the upkeep. This is analogous to infrastructure as a service, or IS. You're essentially renting the computing resources you need, servers, storage, networking, from a cloud provider. They handle the infrastructure management while you have the flexibility to customize your setup.
Okay, so a bit less commitment, but still gives you a good amount of control.
Right.
I like it. What about option 3?
This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Imagine bypassing the whole driving thing altogether and opting for a ride-sharing service. You simply tell the driver your destination, and they take care of the rest.
Okay.
This is the essence of platform as a service, PaaS, and software as a service.
Okay, so I see the beauty of this. You're free to focus on the journey, not the logistics of getting there. But how exactly do PaaS and SaaS differ in this analogy?
Yeah, so with PaaS, think of it like having a personal chauffeur and a fully equipped car at your disposal, right?
Okay.
You still have some control over the route and can even make a few stops along the way. You're provided with a platform and the tools to build and deploy your own applications. But the cloud provider manages the underlying infrastructure.
Gotcha. And sauce would be like kicking back in the back seat and enjoying the ride.
Exactly. SaaS is all about using ready-made software applications over the internet. You don't worry about the car, the route, or even driving. You're simply along for the ride. The cloud provider manages everything, and you get to use their software to achieve your goals.
Wow. Cloudbenders really nailed it with this whole road trip analogy. It perfectly illustrates how the cloud caters to various needs and levels of technical expertise. Whether you want to be hands-on with your IT infrastructure or prefer a more hands-off approach, there's a cloud solution for you.
Absolutely. And this brings us to why the cloud matters, even if you're not, a tech wizard.
Right.
Cloudbenders highlights 3 key benefits that impact everyone: scalability, cost efficiency, and flexibility.
All right, so let's unpack those benefits. Scalability, that one always sounds a bit intimidating.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us? Yeah.
Think of your favorite online store having a massive flash sale. Right. Everyone's rushing to grab those deals. And in the past, their website might have crashed under the pressure. But with the cloud, they can instantly scale up their resources to handle those traffic surges and then scale back down when things return to normal.
Oh, okay. So it's like having a magical expanding storefront that can accommodate any size crowd.
Exactly.
What about cost efficiency? How does the cloud save businesses money?
Imagine you had to build a physical store to handle the absolute maximum capacity of customers you might have at any given time, even if most days it's relatively quiet.
Right.
Seems like a waste of space and resources, right?
Yeah.
With traditional IT setups, you often end up paying for more than you use. The cloud flips that model on its head. You only pay for the resources you actually consume, like paying for electricity.
That makes a lot of sense. It's all about efficiency, avoiding those unnecessary expenses. And finally, we have flexibility. What makes the cloud so flexible?
It's about agility and the power to adapt quickly. Cloudbenders points out that the cloud empowers businesses to experiment and innovate without huge upfront investments.
So it's like having a digital testing lab where you can try out new ideas and see what sticks without breaking the bank.
Exactly. The cloud removes the risk and the high cost associated with traditional IT infrastructure, allowing businesses to be more nimble and responsive to changing market demands.
I can see why so many businesses are making the move to the cloud. But what about the average person? How does this impact our everyday lives? I mean, I don't have a data center in my basement. Or do I?
Well, that's a fascinating part. You might not even realize how deeply the cloud is already integrated into your daily routine. Think about it. Your Netflix binges, your Spotify playlist, storing photos on Google Drive, managing your finances online. All of that is powered by the cloud.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I rarely think twice about accessing my files from my phone, my laptop, even my smart TV. It's just there. Cloudbenders made me realize, we've come to expect this seamless access to our data and our apps, no matter where we are, what device we're using. It's like having this invisible, digital assistant just working behind the scenes, making our lives easier.
Yeah, and this seamless integration, it's really just the beginning. As more services move to the cloud, we're talking about a future powered by advancements in artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, personalized medicine, and so much more, all made possible by the accessibility and the sheer power of the cloud.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think how this technology has evolved from a simple concept to this driving force behind some of the most exciting innovations of our time. But before we get too carried away with the future, I want to circle back to something Cloudbenders emphasizes throughout their podcast. Demystifying the cloud, making it feel less like this abstract concept and more like a tool anyone can understand and use.
Absolutely, yeah. One of their key takeaways is that the cloud isn't just for tech giants and developers, It's a tool that's available to anyone with an internet connection. And the sooner we kind of embrace that, the sooner we can unlock its full potential.
Totally. It's like Cloudbenders just throws open the doors to this incredible digital playground, and says, go ahead, explore. What are you going to create?
It's a powerful question. It really drives home the point that we're not just passive consumers of technology anymore. The cloud, it empowers us to be creators, to be innovators, to be problem solvers.
Right. Whether it's finally launching that online business you've been dreaming of, or building a community around a shared passion, or simply, finding new ways to learn and grow. The tools are quite literally at your fingertips, thanks to this thing we call the cloud. So no more like feeling intimidated by the jargon or overwhelmed by the complexities. The next time you hear someone say, "Oh, it's in the cloud," you'll know exactly what they mean, and hopefully you'll be inspired to explore the endless possibilities it holds.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I am. This deep dive into the cloud has been eye-opening, to say the least. It's amazing how something so seemingly complex can be broken down into such clear and relatable terms. Big thanks to Cloudbenders for being our guide on this journey.
Couldn't agree more, yeah. They've definitely inspired me to look at the cloud in a whole new light.
Yeah, for sure. And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have. Remember, the cloud isn't some distant mystical entity. It's a tool that's shaping our world, and it's up to all of us to explore its potential. So go out there, create something amazing, and keep reaching for the cloud.
Until next time, keep exploring.